Alright guys, so we've come to the point where we need to start using our brains. And I'm not going to show you me extracting them, but basically all I'm going to do for this modern setup is I'm going to get my old Sawzall out. And usually I make 3 cuts, one across connecting the ears and then 2 down, kind of like a triangle. And then you can get a spoon or anything or shake the brains out. And I don't have the original head that came with this hide I'm working on, so I had to go find me some heads. But it's really nice. If you harvest your own deer, you have everything you need. You have the brains, you have sinew for repairing hides, you have the bones if you want to go all abo. And every deer has enough brains for its own hide, so you have all the tools you need, really all in one package. But in this case I had to go get some, and I'm going to use these 2 deer for this one hide because these are kind of smaller deer heads. And I'll get those brains and I'll be back. Alright guys, let me show you where I'm at here. I went ahead and scooped those brains out. I threw them in the blender with a little bit of water and I blended it up, and I have a raw brain soup at this point in this container. And over here I have about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of boiling water at this point. I just boiled some water and threw it in that bucket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this container into this bucket and let it cool enough to where I can put my hand in that water. I wanted to separate the 2 just for the sake of this video, because a lot of people recommend taking your brain and boiling it for a couple minutes to kill any bacteria. I usually don't do that. I usually just throw it right in the hot water. I like my water hot because hot brain will absorb into the hide a little bit faster than cold brain. You can do this whole procedure cold. It doesn't really matter. I just like warm water to work with. But I wanted to recommend for anyone that wants to try this that a lot of people say you should boil your brains to kill any bacteria. So I'm going to just take this brain and pour it right in the water. Just like that. Try to get all that brain in there. So this is what we have. I'm going to let this cool for a little bit to where I can get my hand in there and I won't hurt myself. And I'll be back with you. Okay, I've allowed my brain and water mixture to cool enough. I can stick my hand all the way down in there, hold it in there, and it doesn't burn. It's still warm, but that's really important because we're going to stick our hide in here. And if we stuck our hide in here when it was still boiling hot, we could cook our hide. It would ruin the whole thing at this point. So when I left off, I had just got done rinsing this hide out, and I scraped off some of the membrane and all the ash. This hide has dried slightly. It's kind of like a soft raw hide at this point. And I usually like letting my hides go to raw hide before putting them in the brains because I just feel like it absorbs more brain sooner when it's all dried out. So the first braining really takes. So, alright, so I had to put the camera down because I'm going to take my hide. I'm just going to start working it into this bucket. And if this is really hardy, it might take a little bit of finagling, but just get it in there. And the water is going to start to absorb into this hide. So basically what we've created in this bucket, let me see here. We've created what's called emulsified oil solution. Those brains contain oil and fat, and that oil mixes with the water. And it's not separate from the water, it's not sitting on top, it's all mixed inside this water, and that's called emulsified oil solution. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow a little bit of oil to get all over all the fibers inside this hide. We're going to get a little bit of oil inside all these fibers, and we're going to work this hide. A real common way of doing that is what's called wringing the hide. It's going to be forcing this liquid all through the hide as we wring it out. And that's going to allow the skin to pick up a little bit of that oil in the process. And that's what we're after. So you're just going to leave this hide in this water until it fully absorbs all of the liquid. You'll see the hide change. It was raw hide. It's going to slowly start to absorb and become white, soft, and a little swollen. And that's when you know it absorbed all the brains that it can. Okay, you see the difference between a spot that absorbed water and oil and a spot that hasn't? This white soft spot has absorbed all the water, and you have some spots that are still tough and rawhide. You just keep this in the water till it all absorbs. You could stretch this a little bit, and when you stretch it, it pulls water into that spot. It becomes nice and white and soft. I'm just going to keep leaving this in here. It takes a couple minutes. You don't have to leave your hide overnight or anything like that. Once this has fully absorbed all the moisture, it's become soft and stretchy again, we're ready to wring our hide. Just keep working it around so every spot is getting wet. Alright, so our hide is fully saturated at this point, and it's ready to be wrung out. I'm going to set this camera up and try to show you that.